Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of XtalknIsh with your boy X.
It is.
You already know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on our Facebook page, you're more than welcome to, of course, hit that like button to be, of course, notified on Facebook and as well on YouTube. More than welcome to hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future.
Ding.
Thank you for that, Ish. And as well, if you are on Twitter, you're more welcome to check us out on Periscope at XtalkingIsh, and as well on my personal page at X_Williams81. I went ahead and retweeted that, so no excuse not to check us out on all these streaming platforms. Before we
Nice.
get into, of course, our spill, want to go ahead and bring on our special guest for tonight. Thank y'all, as always, for joining us, Mr. Adrian Lunsford and Mr. Trent from, of course, the streets, the dirty, dirty streets of Cyprus, from down the street from Ishmael.
Why?
You know
Why
how
you got?
the
Why
killer
you
the
got?
killer Cyprus out here in these streets. You know how that be.
Oh my gosh.
Before we of course move on, I want to let these guys introduce themselves. Trent, I'll let you go on first.
All right. Hey, what's going on? My name's Trent Thomas. I think I saw you guys last season when the Niners was doing their thing, even though we fell short last year in the NFC Championship. So I've been a Niners fan my whole life. I'm a neighbor of Mr. Ish. So, man, I just want to come on here and kind of give my spiel about the 49ers and hopefully we can pull off the win in 2 weeks in this matchup, a rematch with Kansas City.
Yes, sir. Mr. Adrian Lunsford.
Adrian Lunsford, Go Steelers.
Y'all know how Adrian
No,
is.
Adrian, you need
You're
to
not
stop,
new to the
man.
show.
Nah, Adrian can't do his own introduction anymore.
I mean, why not, man?
Now he gonna be over here talking about Go Steelers. The
Why?
Steelers gone a long time ago. Okay?
You know, man, hey, I'm trying to be like Cowboy fans, man. We gonna start talking about next year before the next year. We all gonna start being like the Cowboy fans. Hey, 1 game win, Super Bowl. We got a new offensive coordinator.
Let me get to the comment section right quick. Of course, Fracture One that says, "Let's go. Blessed to be here for another great show." X and Ish go 49ers, and as well says them hardcore streets of Cyprus though. It's tough. It's tough out here. If you know, you know. I'm just saying. I'll leave it at that. All right. Once again, we are back to recap conference championship weekend. Of course, if you were living under a rock, you might have not realized that Mitch Patrick Mahomes will be going to his fourth Super Bowl once again, 4 in 5 years, six AFC Conference Championship games appearances in his 6 years of the NFL. Of course, what people will always throw out there is he already the GOAT? Will he become the next GOAT? All of these questions that's going to arise this year, next year, moving forward in his career. Before we get into all of that, let's just focus right here on this game. I want to have our guests talk about these games first because depending on who you was rooting for, might have been a surprise to most, might not have been a surprise to some. So again, because we have our guests on here, I want to hear what they have to say. So I'll have Mr. Trent start off first. Let me hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game. I watched probably like the part of the first half and the last quarter. But, man, the big thing that really disappointed me, I just really want to see a good game because, of course, I'm a Niners fan. But the Ravens, they didn't come with a good offensive game plan. Or if they did, they didn't stick to it because, man, you would think we're having Lamar and like 3 or 4 running backs and double tight end sets, you would run the ball at least 60 to 70% of the time. And that just like really threw me off. We want to control the clock and keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand, but the guys, I guess they didn't stick to the script. And of course, Zay Flowers, one of the top receivers, rookie, made a few mistakes on the field. So man, you just gotta, I guess, go back to the drawing board and try to be consistent. Because with Lamar, man, I feel bad for him. I thought this was this year, but he's gotta figure it out next year.
Adrian.
Well, I'm gonna go the opposite way on this, Trent, just because of
Mm-hmm.
the fact that, hey, the game plan is quit trying to make him a pocket passer. Just let
Yep.
him be the athlete that he is. Let him play football and go out there and play. But no, they got to the playoffs. And I always tell X this when we and him talk off the air. I always say this to him all the time. I don't look at how when teams win, I really analyze how they won. And the two games, the game before that, it's the same thing. All of a sudden you get to the playoffs and you change your whole game plan. I don't understand. You've been running the football all year long. Just
Crazy.
run the football. Just do what you do and win the game. I put that loss, I'm gonna put it on Lamar just because at some point in time, you got to be like Patrick Mahomes and even Josh Allen the week before. You got to go rogue. You
Yeah.
got to do your own thing. You're not going to get benched. You're not going to get cut. Just do your own thing, man. And if it don't work, then you stand up at the podium, say, "Man, I took too much on my shoulder." But golly, man, I feel for him. I feel for him.
Ish.
I mean, I'm not gonna focus on the game plan or anything. I mean, I think a lot of people have been focusing on that. A lot of people have been talking about, hey, why didn't they run the ball more?
Six
What was
times though,
going
ish.
on? Hey, let me just
Six.
let me just say it like this though. Let me say it like this. It was similar to a game that they already played this year, and the score was the exact same. Adrian, you should be familiar with that game.
Steelers Ravens. I
They
knew he was gonna
played the
bring it up.
Steelers
Yep, I was gonna say that.
17-10.
Yeah.
17-10, and it looked exactly the same. It was almost a copy of that game. Really, other than Patrick Mahomes being there and doing Patrick Mahomes things, it was pretty much the same game from the Ravens. So when I was looking at it and I'm watching the game, as the game kept going on, I felt more and more confident as a Chiefs fan. At first, I was a little nervous. I mean, I think a lot of Chiefs fans would have told you before the game started. The one team we didn't want to go and play throughout the playoffs was Baltimore. We didn't want to play them because
Yeah.
historically we've had a really hard time with mobile quarterbacks extending plays, making plays against our defense, and you would think that the Ravens would come out and they would attack that. Not necessarily like let's drop back and have him pass and then hope he creates magic, but creating designated run plays for
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, and they just weren't doing that. So the longer the game went on, and the more it looked like they were leaning heavily on Lamar throwing the ball and him, trying to create this magical moment, the more as a Chiefs fan, I was like, "Oh yeah, we got it. Come on, baby, throw the ball." We were excited, and I mean, it was bad throw after bad throw, and I think you said it, Adrian. At some point, he's got to have that. Like he got to take that on his shoulders, and he got to find a way to win the game, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing for me out of this game that needs to be the conversation. What is our expectation for Lamar, and what defines his career when it's all said and done? Because as we all know here, the casual fan may look at it and say, "Well, he got to win a Super Bowl." We all know it here.
Right.
Winning a Super Bowl is not that easy.
Right.
It is not that easy. I mean, we're gonna talk about it in the next game, but oh boy from the Lions, he already told his team, this may be the one shot we got.
Yeah.
This may be it. We may not get it again. So when you're looking at Lamar and you're thinking like, with all the things that happened to the Ravens, because honestly, maybe 2 years ago they should have been in this spot. Maybe a year ago they could have been in this spot. They've had this team built and ready to go for the past couple of years. Injuries have just really hampered them the past couple of years. But this was the year where they stayed healthy for the most part, and they were able to find a way to be the favorite. And then to have it in the way that it did, I'm looking at Lamar and I'm just thinking maybe you aren't that guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think we need to have the conversation of maybe he's just not that kind of guy, right?
Well,
He's
he
gonna do that.
he's good. He's that guy though. Think about it. He's that guy during the regular season. Why can't
Yep.
he be that guy? Why can't he be that guy in the playoffs? And nothing more than it's not even about his passing. It's about just taking over the game and saying, I'm the best athlete on the field when I take off running or do what I'm gonna do. And then also, yes, the coordinator's got to call some design runs. I mean, you can't just
Exactly.
drop back and just take off running. So, in my opinion, I just would like to see him do like the Brady's of the world, the Mannings of the world, the Roethlisbergers of the world. I'm even gonna go in Mahomes. I'm gonna even say even the 49ers quarterback. I think Brock Purdy got it in him to say, man, listen, we gotta win. If I gotta go to the sideline and you gonna cuss me out, I was watching a clip on Brett Favre, and he was talking about where Pat Shermer told him not to throw the ball somewhere, and he threw it anyway, and it worked. And he went to the sideline and was like, hey, if it didn't work, I had to deal with it. But if it worked, it worked. And I think Lamar's got to be the same way. Just take the game in his hands, man, at some point in time, especially in the playoffs.
I love all of those takes. Let me get to the comment section right quick. Fracture One that says Lamar and the Ravens like deer in the headlights. The moment was too big for them. Ravens OC was trying to be cute, in my opinion. Chiefs had 6 DBs for a lot of that game. Also, Lamar and Dak are the same QBs in my eyes. Great indoor Hall of Fame seasons, but
don't do that.
Trash in playoffs. And I feel the exact same way on that one. I've seen the meme go all throughout social media when it comes to comparing him to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott hasn't gotten this close at all when it comes to the playoffs or whatnot. So we are not
Dak
going
to
no
MVP. Don't do that to Lamar.
That as well. But I'll make mine very short and sweet. I don't want to hamper too much on Lamar. I want to actually look more into giving praise into what the Chiefs were able to accomplish, especially on the defense.
Man, don't be praising them fools.
Shut up, Ish, because the last 2 weeks you were talking about, the Chiefs gonna lose.
Yeah,
Chiefs gonna lose.
Finally, they went and did what they were supposed to do.
You, how the hell can you doubt Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes haven't given us the reason to doubt him yet. Every other quarterback, all 31 other starting quarterbacks in the league has given us reason. Even Brock Purdy, yes, I said it. Even Brock Purdy has given us reason to say, you know what?
No.
Patrick
Here
Mahomes,
we go.
No,
here we
not
go
yet.
Again.
Not so far. So with that being said, you have to give a lot of credit to Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, again, I know Adrian and I, we talk about it all the time. Ish, I know we talked about it. Some coaches are just not great head coaches. Like, it is what it is. It's not an indictment on that person as a person or as a coach. Some coaches are just better as coordinators, and that's okay. And for Spagnuolo to be able to go from place to place, like my man Vic Fangio about to go back to where's he going back to? Northeast. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's a guy that just keeps jumping from place to place.
To Seattle?
Is it Seattle? I thought it's one of somewhere in the Northeast. But anyways, he's somebody that went from, like I said, from the Dolphins. I want to say, I thought he's going to, there you go. Thank you. Great ironic. Thank you. He's going to Philly. My apologies. Thank you for that. So some coordinators like Spags, he had an opportunity to become a head coach, didn't work out, went back to be a coordinator, doing a hell of a job here with the Kansas City Chiefs. And for him to be able to put out that game plan for Kansas City, like Ish said, it mimicked what the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to do in the regular season. It also mimicked, if you go back and go watch Lamar Jackson's first postseason game against Tennessee Titans pretty much put that same game plan on Lamar Jackson when it comes to mixing up different defensive coverages for him. It's not about just, hey, we're just going to contain him and just rush 4 or 5 and keep him in the pocket. No. He's that dynamic to where you have to throw everything at him in the kitchen sink when it comes to disguising coverages and zone blitzes, having a corner come off the edge or whatnot. Like, you have to do these things because he's just that good. Now, the deer in the headlight type of comment, I understand that. I did look like that at one point in time, but we also got to look at the OC for the Ravens when it comes to why did the hell did it take 3 quarters for OBJ to get on the field? I'm not understanding that as well too.
What difference does that make? Who is he?
I understand that, but here going into the offseason, going from the offseason going into the season, the Ravens talked about how they have this wide receiver core now that's better than it's ever had been before. And I know OBJ is not who he used to be, but he has shown up enough to where he definitely could have made a little bit of a stamp besides just 3 catches on the game. Zay Flowers, I don't like this whole he's a rookie. That's why he didn't know how to tuck the ball in. That's bull crap. He's been playing football since Pee Wee League, I'm pretty sure. If not,
he tried to do too much. That's all it was.
That's my point.
That's all
I'm
it
not going to
was.
look at Zay Flowers and say, "Oh, well, he's a rookie. He just didn't know."
No.
That's elementary. That's elementary. You know good and damn well you're playing in that type of game where winner takes all. You have to protect the football, and of course the unsportsmanlike conduct type of penalty on him as well too. Just a lot of
Sound
undisciplined
like a lack of discipline
type
to
of
me.
type of plays. Going back to Van Noy as well too. You can get on Travis Kelce about how Travis Kelce was an investigator in that and whatnot. But it's just one of those things where the Ravens had everything lined up for them to win this game, and they did not capitalize on the
But
opportunity.
X, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. You take guys, some guys like Zay Flowers was trying to win the game. I got no problem with him trying to win the game. If I'm a teammate of his, I got no problem with him trying to win the game.
But it's different if you're down by 2 touchdowns.
No, but my point,
like you're trying to get back into the game. They were in the game the whole time.
But this is the thing. Think about it this way: if it works, nobody has nothing to say.
So okay, the same thing about we about to talk about the Lions and 49ers. We about to say the same thing about that.
Okay,
yes.
well, totally different. Totally different.
Okay, continue.
Totally different.
Continue.
It'd be different. It'd be different if Zay Flowers didn't line up and wasn't running the right routes or doing something like that. Then I could have a problem with it. But trying to win a football game, you stick the ball out to the goal line. It gets punched out. Great play by Snead. Great play.
Yeah, great play by Snead.
Great play. Great play. Two great plays. If he scores, everybody's going, oh man, you see the effort he put into that. You see this, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, and it's no different than Travis Kelce looking like he was gonna throw that ball and about to cost his team the game when he ran whatever that play was, and he acted like he was gonna throw the ball.
Regular season game.
No, I'm talking about in this game. He got a screen pass or something.
I thought you were talking about when he threw to Kadarius Toney in the regular season for that. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying he acted like he was about to throw the ball and then he tucked it and he was thinking about Andy Reid in his head. That's just I got no problem with somebody trying to win the game. I not as a player. As a fan, I can get it, but as a player, never.
Adrian, you're the oldest person on this panel. You out here sound like one of these new age young kids and whatnot when it comes to just how you thinking about the game. It's scaring me right now. You're not.
I got to, man. That's the way the game is.
Thinking like this, Adrian.
That's the way the game is.
I need this 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of mindset.
No, he's trying to win the game, and I don't fault him for that. I think it was textbook by Snead, just going for the ball, punching the ball out, and everything. Like that's a young man that's trying to fight to win, and if anything, I appreciate that attitude. I appreciate that fight that they had and trying to go out there and still make it happen. Ultimately, it just wasn't there. And I think a lot of like what you called out, X, it's a lack of discipline, right? It's a lack of discipline.
Yeah.
And you can't be a championship team if you don't have discipline.
I mean, especially coming from Trent, I want to get you in as well, too, especially coming from a Harbaugh coach team that did the right things pretty much all season long, especially on the defensive side of the ball. This is a historically great defense. And like you guys mentioned, when it comes to Lamar, and also we'll talk about the Lions real soon, there are no guarantees that you'll be back next year. There are no guarantees that this defense will be as good as this defense is right now. There are no guarantees that, you won't lose another running back next year due to whatever type of crazy injury or whatnot. So it's just, again, I don't want to just harp on Lamar and just say it's just on him because it's not.
No, we need.
But it sucks because Lamar, and we talk about this all the time. The way that he plays is going to limit the amount of years he's going to be able to play in the NFL, just due to all the little hits that he takes and just having to put the team on his back more so than not. Come on, Trent, get on in here.
And another thing I'm thinking about, like, I wonder if he was trying to like change the narrative of himself, of his image, because you could tell he just wasn't that same person that he played during the season. Like, I'm going to be a passer. I'm going to show them I'm not just a runner. I'm going to show them I can pass the ball and beat Mahomes or win the playoffs and not just take off. Like, you could just tell, like, watching some of the game, like, dude, you had opportunities to just take off, but you want to sit back and launch it. I'm like, dude, you don't have them type of receivers. You can't do that.
So let me ask the panel. Let me ask everybody here.
I'm waiting for
you brought up exactly what I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
I was watching him, and what came to mind was RG3 and his situation in Washington.
Yeah.
And where they said there was conversations behind the scenes where he went in and they wanted to continue to run the read option. He said, "No, I want to be a pocket passer." Right?
Yeah.
And I want to ask you guys, do you think, because Adrian was listening to all these guys, you got to be like this guy, you got to be like this guy, you got to be like this guy, and ultimately all the guys you listed, other than Patrick Mahomes, it's some white dudes that they not really known like that. That's not their game. So
Yeah.
when they happen to break the pocket and run and make a play, extend the play, make a good pass, everybody like, oh man, look at that game changing play. But if that was Lamar, they'd be like, look at him not being a quarterback. Here
Yeah.
you go again,
He's
running
sneaky
back.
athletic. Look at that sneaky athletic quarterback there.
And I want to ask, do you guys think that when you have quarterbacks, these young black quarterbacks who historically have been known for their legs, when it comes time in the playoffs to make your name, to make your legend, do you think it gets in the back of their head like, let me do it with my arm? Because if I do it with my legs, there's going to be this excuse of how I did it, or it's not going to be their respect. And not to say like people are out there they're making this conscious decision like, oh, I'm going to go out there and I'm only going to be one dimensional, but more so like, is this something that kind of lingers in the back of their mind to where you hesitate on a play where in the regular season you would have just broke out and run?
Yep.
You just kind of hesitate like, I can make this pass. I might be able to fit in this window, because you think like that's what's going to get you that respect or bring you into that conversation that ultimately you just never going to be a part of.
Yeah.
I think so. I can't. There's nothing. There's no argument to that. I mean, it's human nature. You hear
Yeah.
it. You continue to hear it. Lamar's been hearing it. He wants to be a pocket passer, or he wants to be known for his passing and his ability. But the truth is, his ability comes from his legs. Is where he, I think I was telling Will this. A matter of fact, yeah, me and Will was talking about it. You just think when you start running the football, you create that much more of a window to throw the ball in. So now he doesn't have to throw in those tight windows. So he's still an accurate passer. But as the windows get smaller, it doesn't look like he's as accurate of a passer. But when
Yeah.
he's running and everybody's out of their lanes and he's throwing the ball in between a 3-yard window as opposed to a 6-yard or 8-yard window, it just doesn't look the same. And I mean, we all played football, and you hear it. You hear it. You hear the noise, and especially a guy like him with his status. Oh, he's hearing the noise. He's hearing.
Yeah.
He can't stay away from it, even if he isn't on social media or none of that. His boys is, hey man, you see what they talking about you? So
Trent.
Yeah, man. I agree, man. Like it sucks because Coach Harbaugh got his back. That's
yep.
the weird thing. He like, Lamar, do your thing, but
Nope.
Lamar trying to prove everybody else wrong. So I feel bad for him, but man, he got to figure it out himself because his coach got his back.
Does this lead to more players like C.J. Stroud?
What I think is hilarious more than anything is none of y'all mentioned the person that is the best example for being able to be the prototypical dual threat, but know how to be a pocket passer, but know how to use his leg when he needs to use his legs. And that's the guy that's playing in the Super Bowl right now, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the best example of being able to have both.
But he has so
He
much more
doesn't run
arm
like
talent.
big.
But he has
I
so
got
much
you.
arm talent. He
Yes,
has
yes,
so much arm talent
yes.
that
I'm not disagreeing on that part. My point is that he knows when to use his legs.
Yes.
And he's not second guessing. When he sees his man to man and everybody is covered and everybody's back is turned around, he's off.
But
Right?
I think he does it though in the situation of what the game is. Like I think he looks at it he's good for moving the chains late in fourth quarters. He's good at that.
That's my point though. No, we're on the same page. I'm agreeing with what you're saying when it comes to he might not be the best runner, and that's not what I'm getting at. My point is that he knows situational football, which allows his dual threat athleticism to be able to be the best that it can be, instead of just saying, "Oh, I can run a 4.3, and I can throw the ball 80+ yards."
Yeah,
that's all.
I think it's different though. I think what we find in the playoffs, we mentioned this a lot, and I don't want to be dead horse. We need to go ahead and get to the 49ers game. But what I do want to say is the difference is, and we find in the regular season, Lamar is one player, and then in the playoffs, he's another player. That's because defenses change in the playoffs. Yep. They play you different in the playoffs. And I think you can't compare Patrick Mahomes to Lamar Jackson because the game plan is different versus each of them. Like what you're saying is true, except for the fact that because of Patrick Mahomes' arm talent, you can only play, or you're going to be more successful in certain types of coverages, which lend to you leaving those types of running lanes versus Lamar, where you can take more of a risk against him because I will take the risk of you beating me with your arm, prove it to me that you can do it, whereas I'm not going to do that to Patrick Mahomes. So the running lanes and the situation that you're talking about is different for Lamar. And you also got to think, if during the regular season people don't play me like that, how do I adjust so quickly on the fly in a game, third quarter, pressure on, clutch? And I've been doing this the whole season. Now all of a sudden you give me a different look. How do I adjust to that on the fly? It's a lot harder to do.
Sideline adjustments are for. In-game adjustments are for.
Yeah, but he's not that dude, and
that's I got that. I'm not disagreeing on anything that y'all saying, but you getting paid $40 million to play this position, to be on this team, to be this leader.
We gotta have that conversation. Maybe my man maybe we just gotta think of him as, he a great regular season guy.
I respect it. I think that was a great compliment from everybody on here.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh man. I love Kirk. Fracture Wanda says, great point, X. Arthur Smith has the same chance as Spags to change the narrative about him. And I did mention Arthur Smith going to Pittsburgh. Adrian is not a fan of that, but we'll see in due time how that all plays out. Grid Ionic says, I'm not old enough to have seen Doug Williams play ball. I don't know whether he was a scrambler or a pocket passer. I just know that he was a winner. He was more of a pocket passer that could run, if I'm not mistaken, Adrian.
That is correct. But Doug Williams is another guy that had arm talent like no other. Like you got to understand the arm talent is huge.
I mean that era. I mean, it was like Warren Moons and the Doug Williams that actually could sit back and throw the ball. I mean, even Randall Cunningham. He could run, but he could throw that. He could sling that thing. So
they had arm talent. Lamar just doesn't have the he has a good arm. He just doesn't have the arm talent that some of them guys have. So
I agree. Fracture One also says, and we'll get back to this when he says, panel, does this lead to more players like CJ Stroud? We'll come back to that. Also, that man, because he wrote such a long paragraph, I'm not able to get the whole thing in here, but he's pretty much said it wasn't completely Lamar's fault. Kelsey was trash. They had him pass the ball 37 times. That's number one. Number two, they got there with the rush. They didn't even run the ball 15 times. That's what got us here. Not Lamar's arm. The lineman gave him no time. The pass protection was horrible. Flowers fumbling the ball at the end of the game. Was detrimental as far as I'm concerned. Worst thing Lamar did was overthrow. Was that throw into triple coverage? Pretty much, Dooley just pretty much summarizing everything.
Play your violin, Dooley. Play your violin. I don't care. Stop that nonsense, man.
That whole soliloquy just.
He didn't have enough time.
All I know is Dooley need to bring your ass on this show, and we'll listen to
come
what
back
you
on the show
say.
so we can roast you, Dooley. I'm ready.
All right, so again, here you go, Dooley. He said, shut up. All right, so we'll wrap it up with this, and we'll get to the NFC Conference Championship game. Bryce Warner says this is lead to more players like CJ Stroud. Anybody want to take that one?
Small sample size on CJ Stroud. It ain't. I'm not. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Small sample size. I think we just in the era we rate these guys way too fast, man.
I was just about to say.
Film changes lives, man. I'm telling you, film changes lives.
Man, I'm waiting for the off season. I was waiting for the off season to bring Texan fans back down to earth, because while yes, it's fun, it's cool to have this guy that you hyped up about. Film changes everything. They're gonna have a whole off season of film on this team. Yes, we bringing Bobby Slovic back, Gerard Johnson coming back. Cool. That just means we're gonna have the same sort of tendencies. We're gonna be running the same sort of plays and packages, and that gives defensive coordinators a whole offseason to go look at that. You don't think Tennessee, you don't think that Indianapolis gonna come back next year and they're gonna come with something totally different to show him? Come
And
on.
not to mention, again, and I tell X this every week, you getting into the playoffs changes your next year's schedule. That schedule, it ask the Eagles what's wrong with them right now. Why they sitting at home? Because that schedule was tough and brutal at the end. You don't ever want to be the loser of the Super Bowl. That schedule that next year is ruthless. It is just pure ruthless. So, yeah, I don't know. It's too early for him. I can't. I'm not gonna say nothing. I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Lions and the 49ers. Trent, I had you start off with this one since this is your team, sir.
Man, I know you guys know about me having that my page, what it's called, SL Faithful 85, and like before the game, I kind of threw out there keys to victory, and it's crazy because we hit 6 of the 8 keys of victory I had, and I kind of tell you a few of them. So a few of them I have like, man, for defense, limit big runs on the perimeter. We didn't get that one at all. So didn't limit any runs. At least limit the lines to like at least 5 explosive plays. So some of you guys is on the call. Explosive plays, any plays that's 20 yards or more. So they got to think about 4. So we barely hit that one. And offense, the established run game, couldn't do that in the first half. But another good one was try to, not commit more than 1 turnover. So we hit that one. But man, that first half, I was hot. Like, I feel like jumping in the TV and just go punch somebody for 49ers and like knock some sense into them. But it was horrible on both sides of the ball. It was so bad. So I don't know what was said at halftime, but the defense, they made some adjustments. They made the lines look a little different. But the biggest thing why we won this game because we actually woke up. And, once we started moving the ball, making plays, the Lions are still doing their thing. I mean, a couple questionable calls about 4th down from the coach, especially the second 4th down he went for, not taking the points. But the biggest thing, we woke up, got momentum. Just playing ball, you get the momentum, and the Lions were not experienced. Man, they couldn't overcome that momentum before 49ers started having that second half. So it was on our side, and Brock Purdy, man, he showed me something that game. I didn't realize he had wheels like that. So I'm feeling a little more confident going into the Super Bowl now because I was like, man, Spagnuolo going to come after him. So he's going to have to, think quick, get out the pocket if you need to, and use them legs.
Now, I'm happy you brought that up, Trent, to finish off what you were saying when it comes to Brock Purdy, because I want everybody that's tuning in and, of course, the panel, how do we view Brock Purdy now after this performance? I want to hear what you guys have to say. By the faces, again, I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say. Go ahead, start it off.
He's exactly who we thought he was.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing different that I don't view him any different than what I viewed him coming into the game. He's exactly who I thought he was. I mean,
He utilizes his weapons.
Yeah, other than that run, I mean, that was the one thing I was like, oh, okay, well, that shows something a little bit different that, maybe the Chiefs need to be a little wary about that. But other than that, I was like, oh, he's exactly who I thought he was the whole time. I mean, realistically, I'm sorry to say it. I know Trent is on the phone. I know, Trent, you here on the show, and you a big 49ers guy. That game for me, it's 2 things. And this is perfect for anybody who's a casual fan. This is something that you need to learn. There are 2 big things that really we don't talk a lot about in football, but they can really turn a game. Imposter syndrome and momentum. And when those 2 things combine, that's how you get a second half like what you saw. Because the Lions should not have been in that game to begin with. Let's just talk about it. To begin with, they shouldn't have been in that game. Seriously. And then once the momentum swung, you saw they realized, oh shit, we're not supposed to be here. Damn, we had them on the ropes. And, oh shit, they coming, and then it was gone. I mean, the game, it was so quick because when a team knows, like, there's certain things. I'll say it like this: they were an underdog who came out ready to fight, and that first half they threw everything they had at them. They were throwing all the haymakers. Then the second half came. And that's when you saw a team that knows that they're supposed to be there. That's the difference between a team that knows how to win a game and teams that they think they know how. They use a lot of emotion to get there, but once that emotion starts to wear off and guys start looking at each other like, bro, why you ain't catching the ball? Why you throw it over there? Man, you got a false start penalty. Man, coach, why you call that play? That's how you start losing games. Those types of teams, that's a bad look. And this is what we saw. I didn't see anything special from the 49ers, if I can just be honest. I didn't see anything special from them. All I saw was a team that was an underdog come out ready to fight. And then the team that knew they should win that game come out in the second half and say, you know what? We're supposed to win this game. Let's go win this game. And they did exactly that.
Well, I was gonna say, Trent, I know you're a good fan. You're a fan, man, but y'all didn't do nothing. The Lions, the Lions let that go. They let go of that rope, and I got receipts over here at 7:50. I got 7:56. I text these words to a lot of people in this panel. Analytics can't calculate momentum.
Exactly.
Period. Yep. Analytics can't calculate momentum. And then I made this phone call. I'm still waiting on him to say it. That's all I need him to say. And as soon as he says it, then I won't have nothing else to say. But he refuses to say it. He refuses to and at 8:38. No, was that Sunday? The game was Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Sunday.
Okay, yeah, Sunday. At 9:17 p.m., receipt number 2, the Lions, I don't believe they're still the same old Lions. I will always say that until they win, they are still the same old Lions. Xavier, would you care to comment that I've been saying that all year?
Well, if it was the same old Lions, they wouldn't be in this position.
See?
Here you go.
Here you go.
I'm just saying. When the last time you see this Lions organization come to this point?
Here we go.
Y'all tell me.
No, they're the same old Lions, man. They're the same old Lions, man.
Do I get to go now?
You got it.
Please.
I don't care. You got it.
Get in the comment section right quick. Dooley says the Lions lost that game. The Niners won it. Just for the record, horrible decisions by that coach. It's sad. The Lions lost that game. Oh, wait. Okay, my bad. He just did everything. So decision making is key. The Lions coach sold them as well. He was commenting on what you're saying, Ish, when it comes to what they could come in early. They were supposed to be there.
Imposters.
Also, Great Ionic says, guys, throw out the official stats and answer this question. What's your true feelings? Is Brock Purdy undefeated in the postseason?
Yeah, games that he complete.
Well, I think the thing about football, we don't like using feelings. Let's use logic and what we see and what we're looking at. Let's do that. Like Ish and Adrian are saying, when it comes to talking about Brock Purdy, I'm not trying to talk about him like he's some scrub, like he's some bum, because that's not what he is. All right, he's a really good he's a good quarterback and a really good system that he's a beneficiary of the system. Now, does that mean every quarterback steps into the system is going to perform like Brock Purdy? No, because we've seen other quarterbacks get into the system and not perform as well as Brock Purdy, right? So with that being said, Brock Purdy obviously brings a different element to this offense than the other quarterbacks have. One thing that Adrian Lunsford has talked about for months now, and I'm going to say it because I have his back on this one. He said that Brock Purdy reminds him of Joe Montana. He's my thought. He stated this. Having some technical difficulties here.
No, we can hear you.
My bad. Having technical difficulties over here. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. So Adrian has already pointed out plenty of times that Brock Purdy reminds him of Joe Montana. So if you're getting compared to Joe Montana, we're not saying that you're a scrub, right? We're just saying in the same thing when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, if you're trying to compare Patrick Mahomes to either Brady or Montana, whoever it is, we need to see more. We can't. I'm not judging. I'm not going to crown Brock Purdy on a year and a half worth of football. I'm not doing that.
No, that's too early.
And if people say, "Oh, you're a hater," or "You're this, that, third," that's fine, because it sounds emotional when you call somebody a hater, because a guy like Brock Purdy really hasn't proven anything just yet. in 2 weeks when he plays against Patrick Mahomes, and if he's able to knock off, now we know, of course, quarterback doesn't play against quarterback. We know that. But if he's able to knock off this Chiefs team, then obviously the narrative changes tremendously, especially for Brock Purdy and the 49 team moving forward. But let's also, and again, no disrespect to you, Trent, but let's not act like these 49ers are a team that's just won Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl over the last 30 years. Again, no disrespect, Trent. I'm not trying to be this guy, but they have gone to NFC Championship games and come short. They have gone to Super Bowls and have come up short. So there is no guarantee at all that just because the Niners are in this position with Brock Purdy, that this is going now a guarantee win because Brock Purdy's at the helm. I think Brock Purdy gives them a great opportunity to win the game. Yeah. But I will say this. Adrian, comparison to Joe Montana, I felt as though that he was more like Steve Young on Sunday. The way he was running around, scrambling, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't Lamar Jackson-esque, but it got the job done. You know, he looks sneaky athletic. You know, he got him a little.
Well, he's athletic. He is athletic, though. He is an athletic.
You know, I mean,
no, he is.
I mean, again, he is. I just think athleticism definition is different for everybody. Can we agree on that?
He's athletic for the quarterback position, but only thing I'll say is if he stays in Shanahan's system, he'll be great. There's no way he won't be great. The difference between somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo, who had great arm, all of that, Brock Purdy trusts the system, and I'm gonna tell you this. I'm quoting this now. You can come back and check the records on after the Super Bowl. If they sink into the middle of the field, he will struggle big time. He throws the crossing route better than anybody I've seen between the linebackers and the safety, and he trusts that throw. But the last 2 weeks, he's gotten interceptions on both his interceptions have come on the same pass. He doesn't see the backside because he trusts the system. And if Kansas City cannot stop that, they are going to be in trouble. Yeah. They are going to be in trouble. And they play so much man, I don't know if they're going to get a chance to stop it. Because if they play man, he's going to kill it. He's going to kill them just because he anticipates throws and he throws the ball early. If they play zone, I think they got a better chance. And I know that they're a man team, and that may hurt them. That may hurt them ultimately.
Yeah. And I'll end it with this when it comes to Brock Purdy. Now, again, for me, watching what I saw on Sunday, I will applaud his performance, but I just want to see what happens in this upcoming Super Bowl. When the lights are the brightest, we know what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. And even if he comes up short, which kind of hard to say because we still haven't seen him yet, will Brock Purdy be able to take the reins from him and lead this 49ers team? Because let's be honest. We watched this game. If everybody watched the game on Sunday, there were a lot of 3-4 yard passes, swing passes to Debo, and Debo catches and yak yardage for another 30 yards, or Kittle or Brandon Ayuk or whoever it was. I mean, the first play that got the whole momentum started was a pass off of the Lions' face mask into Brandon Ayuk's hand. I mean,
but why wouldn't you do that?
Which part?
That's their game.
I was just going to say, why wouldn't you do that? Debo, get the ball in Debo's hands early, McCaffrey's hands early, Kittle's hands early, and the Lions don't tackle worth their crap.
I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying that it's not like he's throwing these 25-yard pinpoint passes down the field. He's doing this. He's quarterbacking, right? He's quarterbacking. He's managing the game. He's doing what a game manager is supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do in that second half to take the 49ers to the Super Bowl. No, I'm not taking anything away from him on that. I just want to see it taken to another level. That's all. Trent?
It's tough because you want him to stay kind of like as a game manager, but not do too much, because if you do too much, it may mess up, I don't know, the system what Shanahan is trying to do. Like what he did the second half was kind of perfect. I really like what he was doing, because in this Super Bowl, if he try to do too much, I think we're going to lose the game. If he try to like be their best quarterback on the field, outplay Mahomes, we're gonna lose. He need to trust the system, and our defense gonna lose the game. If we not getting at least 2 takeaways and containing Kelsey, we're gonna lose. It's gonna be on the defense, honestly, this game. I think the offense is gonna do their thing. It's gonna be the defense that's gonna win the championship.
You know what? I like what you said, but you talking about the wrong man.
What you mean?
You talking about Brock Purdy. You said Brock Purdy. He needs to not do too much. But you talking about the wrong man. You know who needs to not do too
Kyle
much?
Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan, crazy little behind. Okay,
When it
Kyle
comes to
Shanahan,
fourth
crazy.
quarter.
I think I'm the offensive genius. Let me just say this.
I agree on that.
I was watching the 49ers game. Y'all had all the momentum. Y'all making them just doing a good job. All of a sudden, I see this damn reverse play to Debo Samuel, and I was like, here he go.
Yeah.
Here he go.
That's that Bobby Slovic.
There go Kyle. Kyle got to do something crazy because I got Debo and I got Christian McCaffrey and I got Brandon Ayuk, so I got to find a way to make sure all three of them touch the ball on one play. Bruh, if you don't sit down somewhere, you were killing them with the momentum. And then you ran a reverse play that lost like 10 yards. And I'm just sitting there like,
that was
why
crazy.
we let this man do this?
Hey, but he calls a great game, man. That dude calls the best football game ever, always.
Now, if they don't win the Super Bowl, I promise you they're going to be a handful of plays we're going to be like, why is Kyle Shanahan doing this in the damn Super Bowl? Because I think at times he gets ahead of himself and I do think he buys into this, like, he's this offensive genius thing, which he is. But he, like Andy Reid, I said it all the time, ask X. I'm always calling Andy Reid out. Sometimes Andy Reid, he be trying to get a little too creative because everybody hyping him up like, oh yeah, he gonna come up. What is Andy Reid gonna come up with next? Like, no, Andy Reid, come up with a game plan that's gonna win the game. I don't want any of your little ring around the rosy, anything else. Come up with a game plan that's gonna win the game. And if you're winning the game and you got the momentum, that is not the time to pull out your little trick play that is gonna lose you 20 yards or get 15 penalties in a row, because I mean the Chiefs did it earlier in the playoffs. They went ahead and got there were three like 10-yard penalties in a row one time. What are they doing? Nobody knows, because Andy Reid come up with these little design plays that he wants to try out because he's a genius. Kyle Shanahan is the same guy, and I think that's my biggest concern for the 49ers. It's been my biggest concern. Kyle Shanahan gonna be the reason why they lose games, because he likes to come up with his little fancy play that he want to call, and he think he's a genius. And then that's when Brock Purdy gonna throw the interception, and then we're gonna be over there looking like, Brock, why'd you throw that ball? He just don't want to come out and say, well, Kyle called this play, and it's designed for me to throw it there.
Oh, that's funny. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm happy that you asked that, because that's going to segue us into this last question for tonight. Who wins Super Bowl 58?
The 49ers.
Don't be scared.
I'm
stand on it. Stand on it.
I'm standing on it. The 49ers. The 49ers.
Okay. Okay, so we got 2 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
X, what you got?
Well, seeing how I actually have sense here on this panel, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not doing
okay,
that.
but you really believe the 49ers are going to win, and you just don't want to bet against.
No, not at all. I put my house down on the Chiefs right now. 300,000.
Bro,
let's do it. Let's do it. I'm taking the 49ers.
And the 49ers are already a 2-point favorite, and
I'm taking the 49ers X.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna take the 49ers X. You want to bet whatever you want to bet? Let me know.
So we doing this whole Tom Brady thing again, right? Where y'all just keep Tom Brady sooner or later. I mean, he can't keep winning Super Bowls, right? No way.
It's not that.
So will Brock Purdy be Eli Manning?
Can I tell you this?
Styles make games, and I just don't think that the Chiefs match up well against the 49ers offense. And their defense, the Chiefs' defense is way better they've been underrated all year, hands down. They've been underrated all year.
Carrying that team.
They have. But the bad thing is, this offense doesn't allow the Chiefs to be who they are. That's the only problem that I'll say. Is just they don't allow the Chiefs to be who they are. Chiefs can't play them man to man and win this game. They got too many weapons that you can't. Your second and third option is so much better than Kansas City's second or third corners or nickels or whatever you want to play. That's where the issue's going to be.
Yeah.
And hey, and let's be real. San Francisco's got a neutralizer for Chris Jones. Chris Jones better go line up somewhere else. He better go line up on the other side of the field because the other Jones on that other side of the field ain't playing with nobody. He ain't playing with nobody. So
That's
you man, they just don't match up.
Use check. That's a big neutralizer there.
Yeah, man.
What
Kittle.
he offers.
Even Kittle. Like
Yeah.
Kittle. Nobody can hold that dude.
Yeah. Now that they play man.
Kittle to have a big game. Kittle, I heard. I don't know if you guys saw a clip earlier. I saw today. Kittle, when it comes to when they lost the Super Bowl last time, he was in the post game. He was talking about how he'll get back and he'll have an even bigger performance than he did in this game. So I expect Kittle to have 8 catches, 100 yards, a touchdown. That's what I'm expecting. But
in a loss,
will it be enough? That's what I'm saying. Like, will it be enough?
I say yeah. I'm going 49ers.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I respect it. I'm not.
We know you don't know football, Egg. So
that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. And then when we come back on this show, I'm not even gonna say I told you so. I'm just gonna.
Well, you ain't said
ring number 3.
Hey,
I guess.
No, you haven't even said what you need to say.
I'm listening
about the Lions. I just need to hear it come out your mouth.
Uh-oh.
They're still the same old Lions.
They're still the same old Lions.
As they say, we'll see what happens next.
Just like I said about Cleveland, they're still the Cleveland Browns. I don't care what you get to the postseason, you're still gonna do Cleveland things. You're gonna do Detroit things, guaranteed.
Can we end it off with this tonight? Look,
here we
I
go.
know a lot of people were
wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. Do we got somebody in here thinking that it's rigged? Oh gosh.
You know, most people think,
Ain't no way the league finna let one. Man, I want to know how people think that players. How do y'all think the players go for that? Like, what man is sitting at his house going, "I'm gonna lose this game"? It don't happen.
You didn't know Roger Goodell? He controls the little puppet strings and
man. Roger Goodell gets slapped in his mouth. He goes to somebody talking about
games like, you know what? I think I'm gonna lose this game today.
Man,
right. Get up out of here with that.
Oh, the refs. He's saying the refs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can give it to the refs. The refs are cheap now. You can't do nothing about them.
I will say this about the Lions before we get on out of here. I agree that, like Dan Campbell said, there are no guarantees next year that you're going to be back in this position, especially for the Lions because of their because of their history and all that fun stuff. But they do have the makeup to be able to be back in a position over the next year or so because some of their really good players are on rookie contracts. So that can help them moving forward. They have a good mix of veterans and rookies. Now, next year, of course, they have a lot of free agents that they're going to have to figure out who they want to keep, who they want to let go. But this is just like we talked about with D'Amico Ryans here in Houston, the foundational year to be able to say, look what we can do. Like, this is something like believe. And now I know Dan Campbell's been there for years, but I'm just saying this was the Lions playoff foundational year to show themselves that they can do whatever they need to do moving forward. Because sometimes you need, and Adrian, we know this. In professional sports, you have to learn. You have to lose to win sometimes, right?
Well, they lost and they'll never win because of that. I'm telling you, man. That was a killer, man. That was a killer.
I know.
That's done for them, man. They're done because
I already have my uncle. My uncle was talking about he's still hurting from the game. I know.
Well, no, I'm just saying from the standpoint of you say the right thing in the media because that's what you get paid to do. I've never went to the podium and didn't say what I was told to say by you go, you get told, hey, this is the questions that they're going to ask. And then you see these guys that get up and walk out because that ain't the question that they were prepared for and they're not going to answer. You're told what to say. They all said the same thing. Everybody's going to say, we believe. But let me tell you what the phone calls are like when you get out of there and you call your boy. Man, what the fuck was he thinking? I'm telling you, man. And you can't get past that. Jared Goff can stand up there all he wants and say, I believe in Dan. He kept us on the field. Da 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 da. Man, that sounds good. It sounds great. But the reality is, man, when he go to drop back and the off season, guess what? he thinking about, man, we should have kicked that damn field goal.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
But that's something that you even as coaches can learn from, right? You either continue to keep doing the same thing like a Kyle Shanahan, right?
Oh, he ain't.
Or
Dan
you can
Campbell
learn
ain't
from it.
changing. His ego ain't changing him, man. We've
Dan
been
not
doing it all year long. We've
But
been doing
that's
it all year
also,
long.
and again, I want to wrap this up, but that's what I was going to state to what we talked about with the Ravens. You've been playing this way all season long, right? So why not you play that way in the postseason? The Lions, just a couple
like
weeks
Ish
ago,
said, the postseason changes.
I got that, but just a couple weeks ago, everybody was getting on the lines about the 2-point conversion against the Dallas Cowboys, right? But that's the style of play that they've always played.
No.
And they lost that game too. They didn't learn from it.
It's a regular season game, and it didn't matter at that point in time.
See,
It didn't matter.
man, I want to hear that.
Standings for them still stay where it's at. It didn't matter.
That's how
Wrap
coaches
it
get
up.
fired.
Yeah, just hey, I'm
If
here so I don't
if
get
y'all
fired.
really think Dan Campbell about to get let go after what he just been able to accomplish,
I mean,
No,
he's not gonna get let go right now.
No, he ain't going nowhere.
he ain't going nowhere. All right, we appreciate y'all as always for tuning in to XtalknIsh. I appreciate my special guest for joining us once again, Trent.
Pleasure meeting you, Trent.
All right, nice to meet you too, AJ.
Let the folks know before we get on out of here where to find you.
You can find me on SL Faithful 85. And I'm on right now. I'm just on Facebook, but of course my name is Trent Thomas. Follow me on there. I'll be always posting 49er stuff and workout stuff and things like that. So hopefully I'll be on next week and go in more details about the game plan for the Super Bowl, and we'll see.
Yes, sir. We'll definitely have you on.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. And of course, Adrian, go ahead and let them know where to find you.
All right, y'all can find me at www.bdocsports.com. Pittsburgh Steelers, way to go.
Mediocrity.
Okay, now he can't do his outros either. Nope.
I mean, why can't I represent my team, man? I just don't understand. I don't have that.
Because just like you said, when we get off this call, you're gonna call me like, man, these piece of shit ass organization here.
They are, but hey, they are, but hey,
you ain't utilizing these players correctly.
I don't know what Mike Tomlin doing, man. I had no idea, dude. None.
We appreciate the love, Dooley. You need to get your ass on here as well.
Yeah,
too. I know
Dooley,
you're busy over there in Cali.
Scared of being roasted,
have you
so
back
you
on.
stop coming on.
Oh Lord.
Them bad takes you got, Dooley.
All right, as always, we appreciate y'all joining us. XtalknIsh. We will see y'all on. Let me think. But we'll take a week. We'll take a week off because there's no game. So
come back before
y'all enjoy the Pro Bowl and whatever festivities that they'll have there. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks for the pregame show for the Super Bowl, and we'll hopefully enjoy Super Bowl 58 with Taylor Swift and the Swifties, right?
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
See you guys
later.